The resolution relates to our investigation of the Trump administration's decisions to add a citizenship question to the census. It authorized me to issue 3 subpoenas for the deposition of John Gore, a senior official at the Department of Justice, for documents withheld by DOJ, and for documents withheld by the Department of Commerce. As we all know, last year, Wilbur Ross, the Secretary of Commerce, decided to add a citizenship question to the census, even though his own Census Bureau warned that the question, quote, harms the quality of the census count, end of quote. Secretary Ross testified repeatedly that he added the citizenship question, and I quote, solely, unquote, at the request of DOJ, but the record shows that this was a pretext. In fact, Secretary Ross began a secret campaign to orchestrate the addition of the citizenship questions months before receiving the DOJ requests. The committee is simply trying to determine the real reason Secretary Ross added the citizenship question. And the documents and the testimony covered by these subpoenas are critical to answering that question. None of these requests is new. They're all items we asked for repeatedly, but the Trump administration refused to produce. Let me walk through each subpoena in turn. First, the subpoena for John Gore. On March 7th, Mr. Gore sat for a voluntary interview with committee staff. However, at the instruction of DOJ counsel, he refused, listen up, he refused to answer more than 150 questions about the citizenship question. The reason they gave was because there's a separate ongoing litigation regarding the issue. Secretary Ross tried to make the same argument before our committee, refusing to produce key documents because of, quote, pending litigation. Let me be clear. The administration may not withhold information from Congress because of separate litigation. That is not a valid legal argument. The Supreme Court has rejected this claim repeatedly. It is not the law, and it would lead to absurd results. If this were the policy, we would have to shut down our investigations every time a private party decided to sue a federal agency. I'm genuinely surprised that my Republican colleagues would make this argument themselves, especially when they routinely conducted investigations of the Obama administration while there was separate ongoing litigation. They investigated the Keystone Pipeline, the Affordable Care Act, and Cover Oregon, the Flint water crisis, the Equifax data breach, and many other issues, all while outside the litigation, while litigation was going on. So based on this flawed legal argument, we asked DOJ to bring back Mr. Gore. As an accommodation, we agreed to limit our request to just 18 questions he refused to answer. Now, keep in mind, he had refused to answer 150, but we just wanted him to come back and answer 18. DOJ refused. That is why the subpoena is necessary. With respect to the second and third subpoenas, they each seek documents that the Department of Justice and the Department of Commerce refuse to turn over or refuse to produce without redactions. Now, they will claim that they have turned over thousands of pages of documents. You will hear this repeatedly, thousands and thousands of documents. But these are just numbers without substantive meaning. When you actually read those thousands of pages, you can see that many are already public, many of them are already heavily redacted, and many are simply missing. For example, we know they have a secret memo that an official at the Department of Commerce hand-delivered to Mr. Gore at DOJ, but they will not produce that document. We don't want thousands of pieces of paper. We want specific priority documents we asked for, unredacted and in full. We've been over backwards to try to work with the administration. We identified priority documents. We extended deadlines, and we even offered a review to review certain documents in camera. But the Trump administration is stonewalling and has left the committee with no choice but to obtain this information by a compulsory process. I hope my Republican colleagues will join us today, particularly given the urgency of ensuring that the rapidly approaching census accurately counts every person. And with that,